What kind of man would willingly return to the place of his greatest defeat? Most would flee it, bury it, pretend it never happened. But not Darth Vader. He chose Mustafar, the very planet where his body was broken, where Anakin Skywalker died, and Vader was born in flame and agony. He claimed it as his home. Why? To answer that, we must trace the origins of what Mustafar truly was, long before Vader made it his fortress world. A world whose wounds went far deeper than the lava that flows through it. Mustafar was not just a fiery mining world. Beneath its burning rivers lay something far more ancient, a Sith shrine, long buried and pulsating with dark energy. Long ago, the dark side itself had twisted the planet's very ecosystem. Mustafar was once lush and vibrant, but a Sith ritual corrupted the Bright Star, a powerful artifact that maintained planetary harmony, plunging the world into endless volcanic torment. This location was no accident. When the Techno Union's assets were nationalized after the Clone Wars, Mustafar came under Imperial control, and Palpatine, master of dark secrets, offered the planet to his apprentice. Why would Sidious want Vader to settle on a world drenched in his trauma? The answer lies in the Sith path to power. Pain is a crucible, and Palpatine believed that Mustafar, sight of Anakin Skywalker's fall, would continue to fuel Vader's hatred, his suffering. To build his sanctuary, Vader enlisted the help of Darth Momin, a Sith architect whose consciousness was trapped in a mask. Momin's twisted genius designed Fortress Vader, a black monolith constructed directly over the ancient Sith shrine. But Momin had a secret agenda. The fortress's structure acted like a tuning fork for the dark side, designed to pierce reality and open a gateway to the Force beyond death. But to what end? For Vader, the goal was singular: to bring Padme Amidala back from the dead. Within Fortress Vader, Momin's gateway briefly worked. Vader glimpsed into the netherworld of the Force. He walked a surreal vision, where he was confronted by echoes of the past. Obi-Wan, Palpatine, and finally, Padme herself. But when he reached out to her, she turned away. He had gone too far. In this moment, Vader realized a devastating truth. She was beyond his reach, and always would be. But the fortress remained, a place of darkness, a throne of agony, and soon a tool of the Empire. So what became of Mustafar under Imperial rule? It became a dumping ground for secrets. The Inquisitorius brought captured Jedi and Force-sensitive children here, torturing them, converting them, or disposing of them. The planet became the unofficial graveyard of Order 66. The mining guild operated under strict surveillance, but profit waned. Even Black Sun, the notorious criminal syndicate, abandoned the planet once the Imperial garrison took control. And yet, the native Mustafarians refused to go quietly. The Mustafarians had long watched their world be desecrated. Once peaceful lava herders and molten miners, they were pushed to the brink by centuries of off-world exploitation. First, by the Techno Union, then the Empire. But when Fortress Vader was erected atop the sacred Sith site, it was not just industry, it was spiritual violation. To the native Mustafarians, the planet itself was alive. They revered its rhythms, its fire, its breath. Vader's arrival was a perversion of that, and so they resisted, not with fleets, but with fire. Using ancient weapons, lava-forged blades, and environmental sabotage, Mustafarian rebels launched several insurrections against the fortress. In one major assault, they nearly breached its outer sanctum. These skirmishes, spread across cavern networks, ash-covered plains, and lava tube hideouts, were desperate and courageous. But Vader was more than mortal. He cut down entire battalions with terrifying precision. The fortress held. The Mustafarians' efforts were buried in flame. Still, their resistance marked them as among the few native peoples in the galaxy who dared rise up against the Empire on their own soil, and paid the price in blood and cinders. To understand Mustafar's long torment, we must go back to a time before Vader, before the Empire, before even the Sith rituals. The Bright Star was more than a relic. It was the planet's beating heart, a force-attuned crystalline object located within the sanctum of Lady Corvax, an ancient force wielder from Mustafar's forgotten past. The Bright Star maintained planetary harmony, regulating geothermal flow, volcanic activity, and even the planet's fragile spiritual balance. But when Lady Corvax tried to use it to resurrect her fallen husband, the star was corrupted. The failed ritual tore a rift through the Force and shattered Mustafar's ecosystem. Verdant fields burned, the skies turned to ash, lava overtook the forests, and the Bright Star was sealed away in shame beneath the planet's crust. Centuries later, during Vader's reign, a descendant of Lady Corvax, the Black Bishop, attempted to retrieve it, but it was ultimately destroyed during a final confrontation between Vader and the ancient guardians of the Bright Star. With its destruction, the centuries-long corruption began to recede. Mustafar began to heal. The forests, once thought lost, sprouted again. Life returned to the air. For the first time in generations, the world began to breathe. But it wasn't just nature awaking. The Force was stirring. In the decades following Vader's death, a new darkness took root. They called themselves the Cult of Vader, a splinter group of dark-side zealots, Sith worshippers, and twisted war relic scavengers who believed Vader was the true chosen one. To them, he wasn't just a Sith Lord, he was a god. They journeyed to Fortress Vader's ruins, constructing shrines from melted metal and shattered lightsabers. They prayed in silence, meditated in the heat, and conducted bizarre rituals, hoping to commune with Vader's lingering essence through the dark-side nexus beneath the fortress. Some members bore cybernetic scars in mockery of Vader's wounds. Others adorned themselves with relic armor styled after his design. They guarded the fortress with fanaticism, defending it from Tomb Raiders and Jedi hunters alike. It was into this twisted temple that Kylo Ren walked decades later. But before he could enter the fortress and claim his destiny, he encountered a creature out of legend. That something was the Eye of Webbish Bog. Sometime after his duel with Luke Skywalker on Cloud City, Darth Vader travelled to Mustafar in search of answers, specifically about the mysterious machinations of Emperor Palpatine, whom he had begun to suspect of keeping secrets. But as he confronted Ochi of Bestoon, an assassin sent by Sidious to punish him, Vader was interrupted, not by Ochi, but by a presence calling him through the Force. The Eye. Who is shouting so insistently? The Eye demanded from deep within a lava cave. The Eye, a mysterious, parasitic entity conjoined with a giant blind host, was no mere oracle. It mocked Vader from afar, riddling him with philosophical questions. Did he truly seek answers? Did he know the questions? Did he think rage alone could solve the mysteries of the Force? As Vader was attacked by lava fleas and forced into combat, The Eye taunted him, sending Force-induced visions of Obi-Wan, Luke, and Palpatine, echoes of his past mistakes and future doubts. When he demanded to know the Eye's allegiance, whether it served Sidious, the Eye laughed again. "Do you know what you want, or what you need?" it asked, blurring the lines between vision, test, and truth. In one final confrontation, the Eye shifted the appearance of the giant to resemble Anakin, Luke, and Palpatine in turn, asking Vader, "If you were chosen, would anyone care what you choose?" Vader, undaunted, made his choice clear. "You will care." And so, the Eye revealed what Vader sought. A navigational device encoded with the coordinates to Exegol, the hidden world of the Sith. As it handed the artifact to Vader, the Eye left him with one final mystery. Had he passed the test, or failed it? Decades later, in 35 ABY, the Eye of Webbish Bog re-emerged. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, driven by voices and visions of Emperor Palpatine's return, came to Mustafar in search of Vader's Wayfinder. The world had begun healing. Forests had sprouted in places once drowned in lava, but resistance remained. Kylo and his stormtroopers fought through the Alasmic of Winzes, a dark cult guarding the sacred ruins. But it was at Corvac's Fen, in the shadow of ancient Sith ruins, where Kylo found what he truly sought. From the black waters of the hidden lake, the Eye of Webbish Bog emerged once more, perched atop the blind, massive host. It greeted Kylo calmly and stated, "You have what you seek." When Kylo attempted a Jedi mind trick, the Eye laughed, immune to such manipulation, and revealed that Vader had once charged it with guarding the Wayfinder. Only those who proved themselves worthy by defeating the Protectors could receive it. Kylo retrieved the Wayfinder, but the Eye warned him, Mustafar burns deception. If he continued down this path, he would encounter his true self. And as quickly as it had appeared, the Eye and its host vanished into the waters, leaving no ripple, as if they'd never existed at all. Today, Mustafar stands as a symbol, a scar on galaxy's history. The ruins of Fortress Vader still whisper, but the world itself is healing slowly, and the Force still moves through it, echoing with the pain, power, and passion of one man's fall and the legacy that followed. But will Mustafar ever truly forget the shadow of the Sith? Or is its fate forever tied to the fire that birthed Vader? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, like, subscribe, and join us next week for another deep dive into the archives. Thanks for watching.